Hey, sports fans and friends, thanks for tuning in on the Shotgun Sports Network YouTube channel, Facebook, or wherever you get your podcasts. Please smash the like and subscribe buttons and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we post new content. Also, go check out all of our great shows on the Shotgun Sports Network. Scout and Catherine host the Elks Call, bringing you all the latest from the Edmonton Elks and Edmonton sports scene. Oz and Joe host the Rouge, White, and Blue podcast, talking about the Montreal Alouettes, Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and CFL in general. Clay, Will, and Sir Douglas host the Argos Fancast, where they discuss the Toronto Argos. All of these great CFL shows are all brought to you by Royal Retros. Click the link in the description and use code STAMPS Roundup for 10% off Royal Retros. Great retro gear from leagues such as the CFL, USFL, XFL, WFL, NLB, MLB, WHA, and more. With the crossover episode last week with the Elks Call being called episode 17, this is episode number 18 of Stampeders Roundup. And this past week I had a chat with Andrew from the Turf District podcast to preview the Labor Day rematch between your Calgary Stampeders and the somehow victorious Edmonton Elks. But first, let's do the Calgary Sports Update, brought to you by Rampage Coffee Company. All right, folks, let's be honest. Watching 3 downs of Canadian football isn't for the faint of heart. You got to be locked in, dialed, alert, or as my uncle says, jacked up on caffeine and yelling at the TV. That's why I start every game day with Rampage Coffee Company. This ain't your average cup of gas station sadness. It's bold, rich, and strong enough to make you believe your team can make a comeback, even if they're down 24-3. And because I love you guys, you can use the link in the description below and slap in the code STAMPS10 at checkout for 10% off. Rampage Coffee, for fans who live for the 2-minute drill. The Calgary Flames re-signed goaltender Dustin Wolf to a 7-year contract extension with an AAV of $7.75 million. Wolf appeared in 53 games for the Flames in 2024-25, posting a 29-16-8 record with a .910 save percentage and 2.64 goals against average. Wolf's 29 wins led all rookie goaltenders in the NHL last season, while also leading all freshman netminders in saves with 1,409 and shutouts with 3. Wolf finished the 2024-25 season second in Calder Memorial Trophy voting. Flames also re-signed forward Connor Zary to a 3-year deal with an AAV of just over $3.75 million. Zary played 54 games for the Flames in 2024-25, scoring 13 goals and 14 assists for 27 points. Head over to the Calgary Flames website for more details and to see the full 2025-26 schedule and more. The Calgary Wranglers signed Carter Wilkie to an AHL contract, and single game tickets are now on sale. Check out all the news and get your single game tickets at calgarywranglers.com. The Calgary Hitmen opened up the preseason with a 6-2 win over the Lethbridge Hurricanes on September 3rd, and followed that up with a pair of home-and-home wins against the Red Deer Rebels by scores of 5-0 and 6-1 over the weekend. The Hitmen next action is Friday, hosting the Edmonton Oil Kings, and the Hitmen will close the preseason Saturday in Lethbridge against the Hurricanes. The Calgary Hitmen have signed 2009-born forward Jack Poole to a WHL scholarship and development agreement. Poole was drafted by the Calgary Hitmen in the 4th round of the 2024 WHL Prospects Draft. Poole played the 2024-25 season with the North York Rangers under-16 AAA. Poole attended the 2025 Calgary Hitmen training camp and appeared in 1 preseason game with the club. The forward will play the 2025-26 season with the North Shore under-18 prep. The Calgary Roughnecks selected 8 players in the 2025 National Lacrosse League draft on Saturday. The Riggers selected offensive standout Noah Manning of Victoria, BC, with the 9th pick of the 1st round. The 6-foot, 190-pound right-handed forward scored 9 goals and 22 points in 8 games for the Senior A Nanaimo of the Senior A Western Lacrosse Association this summer. He also played in 57 career games at the University of Denver, notching 83 goals and 122 points. Manning became the 24th Pioneer to reach 100 career points and was the 19th fastest doing so in 52 career games. With the 11th pick in the first round, the Roughnecks selected transition player Kyle Pepper, who played in the WLA with the Victoria Shamrocks after a collegiate career at St. Bonaventure. Pepper scored 15 goals and 29 points in 17 games with the Shamrocks. The Roughnecks rounded out the draft, selecting Jordan Vincent, defenseman, at 29th, Jack Royer, a forward, at 49th, Lucas Olsson, a forward, at 56th, Hudson Chivers, defenseman, at 70th, and traded 82nd pick to Oshawa for a 2026 sixth-round pick and goaltender Tommy Wood at 84th. All right, let's get to the latest Calgary Stampeders news. The Calgary Stampeders had a rough outing in the Labor Day rematch at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton on Saturday. The Stamps hung in for the most part, and two huge rushing TDs by Justin Rankin were the difference. Vernon Adams Jr. completed 15 of 29 passes for 229 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. PJ Walker came in the game late and was 4 for 6 for 38 yards and 1 interception. Dedrick Mills had only 8 carries for 38 yards. Eric Brooks led the receiving corps with 6 receptions for 115 yards, followed by Clark Barnes with 5 receptions for 58 yards. Damon Webb led the defense with 9 tackles, followed by Anthony Johnson with 4 tackles, while Clarence Hicks and Sean Peterson each had a sack. Go check out stampeders.com for more reactions, interviews, stats, news, and more. Sports fans and friends on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be notified when we go live or post. And like and follow at Stamps Roundup on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Now let's get to my chat with Andrew from the Turf District podcast to see if his preview of the game came true.
All right, joining me right now is Andrew from the Turf District podcast. Andrew, first time for me to speaking with anyone from the Turf District. Welcome to Stampeders Roundup.
Hey, thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate it. And hey, I mean, always like talking football. So more people that want to chat, I'm in.
That's what I said to Scout the other night from the Elks Call. I said, you know what? We may cheer for different teams, but we're all here for CFL football. And the more people that talk about it, the better.
Oh, I 100% agree. It's part of the reason that we started our show was to, meet more people who wanted to talk football, and seems to have panned out rather well. So I like that we have friends everywhere we go. And, when we're there for a game, we can, we don't chat maybe for 3 hours, but after that, everything's back to normal. So I love it.
Yeah, it's great. Listen, we won't go into too much detail about last week's game because I'm sure it's been beat to death already, but just give me your kind of overall thoughts on that game and how you felt about that.
I thought that it was going to be a difficult game right from the get-go. Like I knew that it wasn't going to be an easy task for Edmonton, especially, they had some success, obviously, with a 3-game winning streak coming into it, but they had been playing the teams that they kind of should beat. And so going in against Calgary, who was running a real hot streak, I was actually pretty happy with the first half. I thought, we're down, 13-4, but I think at that point, if anybody had asked me on the Tuesday before, if you were down 9 at halftime, would you be okay with that? And I probably would have said, yeah. Like I thought the defense played much better. There's on the stat sheet, you're not seeing sacks and tackles for a loss, but there was pressure, which was making it a little harder on Vernon to get the balls connected. And the secondary was playing really well as far as knockdowns and things. So I saw another step. And I think with this team right now, that's what we're looking for is, can we see another step happen? And I did see that other step. And if it wasn't for a few some botched silly things, a snap going off of running across offensive linemen, maybe it's closer to a tie at halftime. And to me, that's a pretty good step for this team. So obviously the second half, not something that I really appreciated, but that's what happens when you have a really good team like Calgary and that defense that can kind of dominate you.
Yeah, you guys only held Vernon Adams to 162 yards passing, so I would call that a win.
Yeah, exactly. And if it was if we had success in the last few years kind of running up to this, I think this would be a game where you say, well, there's a moral victory in the fact that step happened and we held them to 162 yards. I think because we've just had such a bad run, it's like, yeah, they did better, but it's different until the W's start piling up, right? So the best thing for me is that I think they had a chance to learn and see what went well, and they can build off of that when they have the return game here this week.
Yeah, a couple more bad breaks in that game. I believe I saw on that fumble. I think it was was it the third quarter or the fourth quarter? It looks like Fajardo, when he cocks back to pass the ball, that the ball hits the shoulder pad of who's in the backfield there.
Oh, Rankin.
Yeah, Rankin. It looks like it hits Rankin's shoulder and comes out of his hand. So that's an unfortunate play there. And then, of course, the punt return didn't help.
No, it didn't. And I mean, you guys know very well, Mark Killam and his genius when it comes to special teams, and he's really been focusing on that here and trying to bring that special teams up. We've had a number of years where we haven't really had that success with special teams, but I think on that particular play, with Jake Julian returning to the lineup, which is fantastic, he's an amazing punter. But I think on that particular one, he just outkicked his coverage a bit, and the guys weren't quite ready for that. That's what happens when you have a punter that's only been there a week. And so because you saw on the next couple of punts, it was high but not quite as deep, and then the guys were right on it, right? And that was what we had some success with last year. So did it help? Absolutely not. It was actually kind of a game changer in my opinion, but I do think that the cover teams are coming around, and Mark Killam will get that into shape. It's just that's one of those things where you brain fart, and we do lots of that. So that's what happens.
Yeah, Jake Julian, great at out kicking his coverage and acting apparently on the contact in the kicker call.
Yeah, I was happy to hand out an Oscar. That was fine. It was. I mean, the funny thing is that I was talking about this with my buddies, and it was like, well, the rule is contacting the kicker, not roughing the kicker. So was there contact? Yes.
It was definitely contact.
Did he sell it? Sure. Yeah, does seem that way. But I mean, letter of the law, right? And that's the way it goes. So I not that it made a difference in the game in the end. So
that brought up a question that I still haven't actually found an answer for. On a contact in the kicker penalty, does there only have to be contact, or does the kicker actually have to be knocked down?
I think there just has to be contact, but his leg still has to be in the air. If he's got both legs planted, then it's fine. But you can see on that Julian's leg was coming down, but the kicking leg hadn't got to the ground yet, and then the shove came. And again, letter of the law, contacting the kicker is the call. So I mean, I was like, okay, like let's build up. No. Yeah.
I found it so funny that I didn't even actually pay attention to whether or not his leg was down.
So that's I was watching very close on the replay, because even I was like, that's a penalty. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not gonna, look a gift horse in the mouth. We'll take what we can.
Yeah. Now Let's focus on this week's game. Couple injuries in the Eskimos. I'm always going to call them the Eskimos. You know,
It's flip flop. I get it.
I try my best to say Elks, but 99% of the time I say Eskimos.
Okay. Yeah,
couple key injuries, of course, coming into this weekend. Talk a little bit about those.
Yeah, some major ones. Jake Serezna going down, likely out for the season, and Niles Morgan going down, also placed on the 6th game, but outside shot that he will be back before the end of the season. But he has a fracture in his leg, and now hairline, but how quick does that resolve is kind of going to be up to where he lands. But so like two major pieces of the defense. So I guess the good part about that is that you look at Nick Anderson is likely coming back in, which is great. They definitely need to have Nick Anderson in this lineup as much as they possibly can. He's an amazing linebacker, and that means Joel DeBlanco can move over to play that MAC position for Niles Morgan. So that helps quite a bit because DeBlanco's been getting all of this game action with Anderson out, but now he's going to kind of move to his natural position, which is the MAC position. So I'm okay with how that can go. Obviously, the push up the middle from Jake will never be replaced, but the Elks bringing in Williams from who was with Toronto last year, so he knows Brinkman, he knows D-Max. I mean, aren't we just the Western Argos now? So there will be some. I'm hoping that he'll be able to bring some push up the middle to complement Brinkman and help with those guys on the ends.
Now you know how the Stamps felt a few years ago when all the Stampeders went to the Argos.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, we know the feeling of the Argos. Yeah, because they all came to us, which is great. But you know what? I that's one of the things that I love about Ed Hervey. And I mean, he has some points that you're like, oh, that's it's pretty straightforward, shall we put it that way? But he does try and do things the right way as far as what the Edmonton culture means. So they are trying to connect with the families more. They want to make this a place where players want to come and see what Edmonton is all about. And when you see that kind of amount of players coming and from a championship team, you think, okay, there's got to be something that's being done properly to keep these guys wanting to come here. So it may not be this year, but within the next year or two, I feel like there's enough guys that'll want to play here, and they'll have that core that will stay together, and the coaching staff that'll stay together, and that will help this grow.
Yeah. Now, last week it seemed that the Edmonton defense was able to stop the passing attack from Adams, but they weren't able to stop the run. Do you think they can kind of balance out their defense to stop the running attack as well, or are they going to have issues again with Dedrick Mills?
Well, doesn't everybody have problems with Dedrick Mills, like pretty much, unless they're a red black? I guess that's the only one that didn't seem to have a problem. But I do think that it's going to be tough. Getting Nick Anderson back is huge because he's great on the run. Very, very good on the run. Again, DeBlanco going to the middle helps against the run. But you lose out Niles Morgan, who is usually very good at stopping the run. And now you're going to have a new face on the defensive line that you're going to have to deal with as well. So I feel like they have to make a lot of adjustments to work on stopping that run. And the tough part about that is then does that leave more open for Vernon? So lots and lots to kind of talk about. And I think the team mostly this week has done a lot of mental preparation and not as much on the field so they can get their bodies recovered. And I feel like that'll be really important as they go into the game on Saturday.
Yeah, I was telling Scout the other night that I was actually surprised Vernon didn't target Damian Alfred more. I don't even know if he got a target, to be honest. I don't recall seeing him get targeted.
he got one, and it didn't. It was an incomplete, and my fantasy was very upset about that. I was quite ready for him to get a lot of targets too, but he
I
did
was
not.
too.
Yeah, so yeah, it's kind of weird because he's back in the lineup and he's having an amazing year so far. So maybe that changes this week.
I'm wondering if he's back in the lineup too soon. Maybe he's not really ready yet.
Entirely possible, but I can't imagine when you've got a rookie sensation like that you'd want to race him back in. Like even if he's 90%, you're like, okay, let's go get you in there and get to see how you do. And I feel like the targets are just going to come.
I guess especially when you're winning already, there's no point in rushing him back and getting him in there.
Why force it, right? Yeah.
I was really hoping to see Adam Bighill more too, but I don't think he even slotted in the game at all.
I know he was out there. I did see him out there a few times, but I know he didn't make a huge impact. Like, but again, first game back in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there was some shift going on that slowed the Edmonton offense down. Like, so he plays a role that way, if nothing else. But I love the signing of Big Hill just because not only can he do some playing, but he's like having another coach, and I think that definitely helps an already good Calgary defense.
Yeah, definitely. Nonetheless, it's going to be a great game. Tell me about some of what are the expectations in your mind in Edmonton this season? I mean, obviously you're not, going to win out and go to the Grey Cup, although you never know, it's the CFL. But what are the expectations there in Edmonton?
Well, I think when the season started, I had an expectation that they would get closer to 500 this year. And I think that was, I didn't think that was way out to lunch because we had a lot of great free agent signings that had played the year before together. So I figured that
Yeah.
that would make a difference. But the defense took a lot longer to gel than I had expected. And part of that is running under a new, a rookie defensive coordinator in JC Sherritt, who we all, love and want him to be here. And it's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
But it does take time to learn how to call that game against some of these top offensive minds that he's playing against. So I think it just took a little bit longer for that defense they were supposed to steal some wins for us early on. And I was kind of expecting at this point that, we'd be, 5-5, 4-6, like somewhere in there. And I mean, I guess not far off when you say 3-7, but still it's amazing how those one or two games make that big of a difference. Right. So as we head into the home stretch, I think it really is just, can we see some growth every game? Can we see them get better? I feel like Fajardo always gives you a chance to win, and he's doing his best with some young guys and that offensive receiving core to make them believe that they can do it too. So I think there's going to be a lot of that, and if they can finish close to 500, I think I'm pretty happy with where that growth happened, and then we'll look for more as the season goes on next year.
Yeah. So talking about Fajardo, the big question now, what's it going to take to get Trey Ford back in the game, or is the rest of the season Fajardo's?
Oh, the rest of this season is Fajardo's. It would take an injury before Trey goes back in. I'm hoping to talk to Cody about it next week to get a little bit of a perspective from him coming as the mentor role in the backup, and then coming in to do the starting and how that mentorship role changes. But I heard him early on, and one of the things that he said when he came in as the backup was, hey, I was behind Ricky Ray, and when I was behind him, I learned so much stuff, and I can now take that opportunity to teach another young guy how to do that. And when you watch them on the sidelines, they do actually talk throughout the game.
Mm-hmm.
There is camaraderie there. You can see it. There isn't animosity. And I'm not saying that there was animosity with MBT, but during the game, they would stand on separate sides of the bench. Like they wouldn't, and it's like, okay, well, where's the teaching part? And I'm sure the teaching was happening in the film room and all those types of things, but Mac is such a cerebral guy, and he really needs to just be, laser focused on the game. And not that Cody isn't focused, but Cody is the guy that's like, okay, I'm gonna bring my guys with me, right? Like when you go back to the Grey Cup winning game, right, and it's the FYJW moment, and I feel like he can bring that, and that's the type, when you have that connection with a guy, that he can help make Trey Ford that better quarterback for when he's ready to be in there as the starter. And so I think it's a really sly move by Ed Hervey to bring him in. And I think that they're really benefiting from the fact that he's ready to teach.
So I'm curious if somebody has taught Larry the correct path to drive the fire engine.
I will not say because I'm always hopeful that he does it again because it's freaking hilarious. But also they turned it into a game now that at every home game, sometime in, I believe it's the first quarter usually, they play Rollin' and by Chameleonaire, and they have 4 people that come out and wear like fire trucks and race down the opponent's sideline, and it's one of the funniest things. I love it. So like, I love that they took that moment and just kind of built off of it. So we'll see what the antics are for this one. I'm not sure, but I always thought it was a little bit funny. I don't know if that was done by mistake or not. So I don't know, but it was kind of funny.
How can it be? I don't know how it can be by mistake when you clearly know what side your team is on.
Yeah, well, I'm going to plead the fifth on that. Yeah, as I'm sure he does. Yes.
We're going to ride the horse down the Edmonton sideline.
It always runs behind them. I'm like, oh, stupid horse. Anyway, that's just my own thing. It's, I like it when the horse has a long day of just eating oats in the corner and not have to move at all. Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
What are you guys serving up on the tailgate this week?
Well, every time we have the Return Classic, it is one of our fan favorites. We have tacos in a bag. And so this is one that we have sold out every year. And I say sold out, I mean run out, because we don't sell it. It's just there for people to come and get. But it is a popular one. And I think last year we went through, was it 12 pounds of beef? Pretty sure it was, for all of the, and still had people wanting to get some, and we didn't have any left. So it's like, it's crazy how popular it is. I think this year, and I'm going to double check because Mike did tell me that he had, where is it here? I will tell you. Because he told me, I believe it's 18 pounds this year that we have. Oh no, it's 21 pounds of meat.
Oh, kicking it up big time.
Yep, 135 bags of chips, and then we will have all of the fixings there. So come find us. We're in stalls 193, 194. It opens at 2:00, and we will. So we're right north of Clark Park. If you go over to where Clark Park is and look north, you'll probably see us there. And but yeah, come grab your tacos in a bag, and we have a great visit before the game, and throw some fun jabs at each other, and then go in and watch some football.
It's funny that you're talking about selling out, and then you corrected yourself and said you run out because you don't sell it, because last year I went to the game in Edmonton where they played the Riders for the chili cook-off. Oh. And I was a newbie at the tailgate. That was my first tailgate. So I didn't know that all the food is free. I was under the assumption that you have to pay for whatever you want to eat.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, most places will have like a tip jar or something. And if you throw something in there, great. If you don't, that's not a problem. But we're really there to provide an atmosphere for people to visit before the game. Like, that's really what it's about. It's to get hyped up for the game, have a couple of pops together, and know that 3 hours later we'll be friends again. But we'll be friends for now, and then we'll go in and do battle. So it's the tailgate has really grown here, and in a real positive way. Scout is right behind us, and so we get to link up a little bit that way, and it's just a good vibe. There's lots of people around, and everybody's getting fed and having a good time. So I highly recommend it.
Now, I saw Kayla went to the game in Calgary. Did you also go to the game in Calgary?
I could not go, unfortunately, because that 4 o'clock start, I am not a fan. If it was 2 o'clock, I'd have been down there. But the 4 o'clock start, it doesn't, by the time you finish everything, it's 8, and then you're not getting home till 11. And I had a kid starting school the next morning, and I couldn't have him coming home at 11. So that ruled me out, unfortunately. But I love going to the Labor Day Classic, but I liked it more when it was at 2. So if you could just influence somebody to help with my old man grumpiness of having it at 2, I would really appreciate it.
Yeah. Last question here before I let you go. Give me a prediction for this weekend, for tomorrow.
Oh man. Do you want to score, or do you just want like a win-loss, or what are you looking for?
Well, win-loss is pretty easy. I mean, we know who's going to win, but actually, I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical because sure as shit, Edmonton always wins one of them.
They need the split. Let me tell you, they need the split. But I think it'll be a close game, closer than last Monday. I'll give it to the Stamps and say it's 24-19.
Okay, a little more offensive then.
A little bit more, not lots, but a little.
Not lots.
I think you clean up a few things. It happens. I mean, if Edmonton cleans up a lot of things, then maybe it's 24-19 Elks. Who knows?
We have pretty good defenses, so I mean it. Yeah, you can't allow for a lot of offense.
That first half last week was like, if you like defensive football, this is the game for you. But then there was a little bit more excitement in that second half.
Yeah. All right, Andrew, great talking to you. Let my people know where they can find you if they want to find good football talk.
Well, thanks for having me, man. It was great to chat with you. And you can find our show, The Turf District. It's actually The Turf District on all of the different social medias. And if you join us on YouTube, we usually go live on Tuesday nights, 7:30 Mountain. We take fan questions. We talk about the games, and we also talk about new beers, and that's very exciting. So join us on Tuesday night. And if you can't catch us live, then you can catch the podcast anywhere you get your podcast from.
Awesome. Well, excellent talking to you. Hopefully I can talk to the rest of you at some point in the season, or maybe in the playoffs. You never know.
Never know. We'll see if we can get the gang together.
Excellent. Thanks, Andrew. Have a great night.
Thanks, man.
That does it for me here at Stampeders Roundup. Big thanks to Andrew from the Turf District podcast for hopping on to talk Battle of Alberta. Go check out all the great CFL shows on the Shotgun Sports Network, including Argos Fancast, Rouge, White, and Blue, and the Elks Call. For myself and my friends on the Shotgun Sports Network, thanks for tuning in.
Here we go.